This video, next video, next video, next video. Okay, so we got horrors of the Arabic internet.
In the mid-2010s, the internet was busy developing
no idea what
its
this
own
video is
genres
gonna be
of horror
about.
content. Before this era, the majority of spooky stuff you would find online would more or less be the same sort of content you could find offline, like scary commercials or
I remember that
horror
one.
movies. But over the 2010s,
That commercial got me.
creepypastas,
Jump scares
internet
are the
mysteries,
scariest
and
stuff on the
ARGs
internet back
would become
then.
essential parts of internet culture, creating a whole new subsection of horror media that only exists on the internet.
Y'all remember
Here in the
Slenderman?
West, we typically focus on the same few flavors of internet horror. Reddit mysteries, online rabbit holes, analog horror, you probably all know
Dolphin
pretty well
Man?
by now. But during this formative period in the
I know all
mid-2010s,
these.
other parts of the world were also busy developing their own unique takes on internet horror. Like, for example, the Russian Death Files, which is a genre we've talked about often on this channel. Our first topic for today is one such unique non-Western niche of internet horror.
It's way
February
creepier
18th,
when the video
2017,
doesn't have that many
new
views, when it
YouTuber
has like
Abdullah
8.4K.
would make his first upload. The video is a fairly standard urban exploration of the Khaybar fort in Saudi Arabia. Abdullah takes us around, tells us a bit of backstory to the fort, and that's it.
You're not getting that same level of like low quality, low fidelity, like the 480p type videos. Those are the scariest videos. You know, when something gets to like 1080p 4K, it's not nearly as scary. It's not nearly as scary. There's way too much detail.
Nothing out of the ordinary happens, at least not until his second video, which was put up only 5 days later. This clip is another urban exploration, this time of an abandoned
my light
hospital
went
in the
out.
city of Mecca. The first thing you'll notice is some issues Abdullah is seemingly having with this camera, which appears to be glitching every so often.
Oh snap.
The second thing you'll notice is the overall different feeling of this video. While his first upload was bright, open, and displaying an interesting piece of history, this one is dark.
That's way crazier that it's like the second video gets a lot scarier. Like the first video was just regular, and then the second video just completely changes the vibe. That's scary right there, because like you're not expecting it. Like when you set like a happier tone in a movie, completely subvert it, that's when it gets you. That's when it gets you. Like it makes you feel safe at first, and then it takes that away from you, and you're completely terrified.
Claustrophobic, and showing us a decrepit building. We can only really see whatever Abdullah is pointing his flashlight at, and there's an eeriness that seems to pervade this entire video. Occasionally, we come across a dirty mattress on the ground, and as our cameraman gets deeper and deeper into the hospital, we can hear the increasingly loud sounds of a call to prayer that's been unrecognizably warped by the echoing empty stone hallways.
Doesn't a call to prayer happen during the daytime?
سامعين؟ طبيعي.
Eventually, Abdullah makes it onto the roof of the building, which is
Oh, it
when
is
the
daytime.
tension plaguing the rest of the video seems to dissipate. We're no longer peeking around dark corners, the call to prayer sounds much more normal up here, and this is also where the video ends. While this clip is undeniably tense and creepy, it's a little hard to call it horror. But Abdullah wasn't done there. His next video would make it clear just which direction he was planning to take his channel in. The title of his next upload tells us that during this next Urbex adventure,
Bro, look at that profile
encountered
picture.
a jinn. Alright, we gotta take a second here to go over
Bro,
what
look at that,
jinns
bro.
are.
He's like, bro, he's looking devious. Look at that.
Alright,
Oh
we
my
gotta take
God.
a second here to go over what jinns are. In Western culture, we typically separate spirits into two categories: ghosts and demons. Demons are always bad, and ghosts are usually bad, but sometimes they can be good. Demons are inhuman supernatural creatures, whereas ghosts are implied to be the spirit of a person who's died. While there are demons in Arabic culture, most supernatural beings fall into the category of jinns, or as you may know them, genies. A jinn is not really a ghost, but is also more similar to a human than a ghost is. A ghost is kind of implied to be between the realms of the living and the realms of the dead, but jinns very much live on this mortal plane of existence. Just like humans, they have free will and can even live as practicing Muslims, which will help them when they die because in Islam, jinns are subject to the same divine judgment
Mogger.
from God that humans are. Jinns are usually invisible but can shapeshift and appear as whatever creature or being they choose to. They typically live in dark, desolate, and abandoned places deep in the desert. Their intentions towards people are more or less neutral. You can think of jinns as like a race of humanoid cryptids that live alongside humans, sometimes helping us, sometimes hurting us. Abdullah's third video starts with him walking in the desert alone at night, only carrying a flashlight and his camera. He's walking up to another abandoned fortress. This one apparently has a reputation for being inhabited by jinn.
What you guys think? What's scarier? Wait, that was impolite of me. Sorry, I should have swallowed first. What's scarier? A human that looks fucked up or like a scary creature monster type thing? Because to me, a human is like way scarier because it's like you recognize the threat of it. Like I know like a tiger and stuff like that could be scary, or like a monster that looks like a beast or something like that. Looks scary, but deep down you kind of want to pet it. You know what I'm saying? You kind of want to be like, come here, little guy. You know, but like if it's a human, it's like, no, this guy is calculated. He has bad intentions. He has bad intentions, especially if it's like a silhouette of a human or something like that, or you only see like glowing eyes or something like that. That's way scarier to me.
Only 2 minutes into the video, just as he's approaching the entrance to the fortress, this happens.
الحسن من المنطقة الوسطى. أحاول أسجل قدر الإمكان بأسرع وقت المقاطع لكن ما ألحق. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إيش هذا؟ شايفين؟
As indicated by the always useful red circle, Abdullah appears to have already come across a jinn before even setting foot into the supposedly haunted fortress. He calls out to the creature but receives no response. So apparently not feeling any sort of fear or hesitation at this seemingly frightening situation, he begins to walk towards the entity. But when he gets to the entrance, it's no longer there. The rest of the
Kinda
video
looks
is
like
much
a human,
the
but I
last,
can't tell.
a tense urban exploration video of a dark and decrepit place. Putting this supposed jinn sighting at the beginning of this clip was probably just a tactic to drive viewership, but what Abdullah also succeeded in doing was planting the seeds for a homegrown and entirely Arabic form of internet horror: Arab ghost hunting. Ghost hunting in the West typically follows a very particular format that you're almost certainly familiar with. A team of quote-unquote paranormal experts enter a supposedly haunted place, set up a bunch of fancy equipment, and try to capture evidence of the supernatural. Not much usually happens in these investigations, and when things do happen, there are usually vague sounds or faint orbs captured on camera. These shows and videos always present themselves as scientific investigations of something that's inherently unscientific, and they often end up being a little boring and dry.
Yeah. That show, Ghost Hunters, is the dumbest thing ever to me because they go at it like trying to like expose it preys on people who believe that ghosts are real. I personally don't believe in ghosts or anything like supernatural like that personally, but those shows would prey on people who did, and they would go into it from a scientific perspective, which obviously none of this is scientific. There's no like frequency that you can reach that says like, oh yeah, there's a ghost here, oh this ghost is trying to communicate. That would have been discovered. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't need these people. You would have actual scientists doing that. You wouldn't need some like hobbyists who have this machinery that supposedly communicates with ghosts going into it and saying, oh, did you hear that? Did you hear that? That's for sure a ghost. That's for sure a ghost. I heard the little creak, you know, like every time based on the data. That's the ghost saying hello. You would actually have scientists who've done studies. You'd be able to do studies on this shit. I don't know why that show is so popular. It's so fake. It's so fake. They just lead people on and never, like nothing ever happens that's concrete. It's just like, oh, this might be that. This might be that.
Because of it. Arab ghost hunting, on the other hand, is a whole different beast. There's no fancy equipment, just brave adventurers with their flashlights and cell phone cameras. This is the WWE version of ghost hunting and is infinitely more entertaining. While Abdullah's first couple of videos are fairly tame, he would up the ante significantly as he became more and more popular.
Yo! Yo, he's going all out.
Fish.
Oh my god. Bro, this is elaborate. This is dedication right here.
Bismillah.
I love how he's so chill about it too.
I think what makes these videos so unsettling isn't just the
No
paranormal
way,
activity.
that's so
A lot of the
dope.
creepiness is driven by the setting. Remember when I said how jinns are thought to inhabit dark and abandoned places deep in the desert? All these Arab ghost hunting channels follow this idea, and these videos are mostly filmed in these really creepy, decrepit buildings. Even if there were no dark figures crossing into view or doors slamming or sounds of distant screaming echoing through the empty hallways, these videos would still be pretty creepy. There are two main channels that pioneered Arab ghost.
I feel like in the Middle East, it's a lot easier to find like abandoned buildings like this, because in the US, they lock all that stuff behind gates and stuff, or they'll demolish a bunch of it. I'm sure there's like a lot more places in the Middle East that are great for this type of content. So that makes a lot of sense.
Ghost hunting. One of them is obviously Abdullah al-Ambari. The other one though is Hassan Barbar. Hassan Barbar started his channel about a year and a half after Abdullah al-Ambari. The content is very similar. Vertical cell phone videos
that's a
showing
dope
abandoned
looking
Middle Eastern
hallway.
buildings illuminated by a flashlight with the occasional encounter with jinns. Where Hassan
that's
differs
cool.
though is the directness of his paranormal encounters. In Abdullah al-Ambari's
jinns love the
videos, the
hoods.
horror tends to be pretty similar to something like
That's
a
their
found footage
uniform.
movie. You never really see the jinns up close. You only ever catch vague glimpses of them moving in the distance. What you do see are the things the jinns are doing, like doors slamming, loud strange sounds, or objects breaking. I think keeping the thing terrorizing you as an unknown is a good way to make horror more effective, but Hassan Barbar has a very different way of doing things. In his videos, he almost always gets up close and personal with jinns. Usually this manifests as Hassan walking up to a hooded figure that has their back towards the camera, and then they have a conversation. The voices of these jinns generally tends to be pretty strange, and they all seem to speak with this weird cadence.
Yo, the shoes. Yo, there's no way a ghost is wearing those shoes right there.
أنا جاي بدك تعملي لي سحر. بدفع. أقتل واحدة منكم؟ طب أشوف وجهك. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم
Is he? Did he just let one rip? Did he just let one rip? Let's see. He just let a wet one rip.
بسم الله. أنت مين؟ أنت إيش؟ أنت مين؟
Yo, these ghosts are gassy.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
You can tell he's letting one rip from the eye twitch.
In the following video, Hassan is walking through the hills of Jordan alone at night. As always, only armed with a flashlight and a cell phone. He eventually spots a lone figure standing still in a ravine in the distance. He walks towards it and gets close enough to talk to it, but the jinn doesn't say anything. It just stands there staring at Hassan.
You know what's so crazy is, like, if you were to go out exploring at night and you were to see another person just randomly, like it could just be a normal person, and you still think it's the creepiest shit ever. Even though you're doing the exact same thing, you're just be like, why the hell is this person out here? But even though you're out there too, of course you're going to assume that person's up to no good. But in order to see a person who's up to no good, you have to be up to no good yourself.
The jinn's face seems to be obscured by long, light hair. But from what we can see of his face, it appears to have darkish gray skin. At some points in the video, the jinn will open and close his mouth erratically as if it's talking in some frantic manner, but no sound appears to come out.
غريب. أنت بشر أنت. إخوان إيش هذا؟
Hassan continues to try to talk to the jinn, but to no avail, and he eventually decides to leave, turning his back every few seconds to make sure the jinn is still in the same spot.
إنه والله وين هذا؟ وين راح؟ إخوان والله كان هون. أعوذ بالله.
I don't know, man. This shit.
As if he couldn't see him out of the periphery. I know the video goes vertical, but you have peripheral vision. The jinn just like leans over on him, like, and he's like, oh. Yo, you can see his shoulder. That's so funny. That's so funny.
I don't know, man. The sheer absurdity of this is enough to make it creepy. Not much else really happens in the video. After that weird jump scare, Hassan mostly just backs away from the jinn until the video ends. In another face-to-face encounter with a jinn, Hassan is giving his intro to the camera when he gets interrupted by a voice calling out to him in the distance.
صندوق الوصف والكل يدعم يا اخوان. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وينك؟
Hassan cuts his intro short and begins searching for whoever was trying to talk to him. He begins shining his flashlight through the halls of an obviously long abandoned building, and he eventually sees a dark figure standing at the end of one of them.
Bro, these jinns are kind of chill though. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're not really like the one leaned up against him, but I think he was just trying to give him a hug. And then all these guys are just like posted with their arms behind their back, like just like posted up, like, hey, what's up, man? What's up, man? I mean, I know they got a weird voice and everything, but I don't think they mean any harm.
عرفتني؟ مين أنا؟
I wish I knew what he was saying.
أفشي السر؟
The jinn and Hassan begin following each other around this abandoned building, carrying on a conversation that appears to be mostly made
That's
up with
kinda
the jinn,
wholesome.
asking Hassan nonsense riddles. The jinn in this case just appears to be a guy wearing tape on his face. It's so simple and stupid on the surface, but just like the last video, the sheer absurdity of this situation combined with the setting is enough to make this pretty creepy in a surreal way. Hassan Barber has a ton of videos, each with their own wacky twist on what a jinn is.
إنها رائعة الملكة العزيزة كيف أتيت بها؟
While the jinns in Abdullah al-Ambari's videos tend to follow a more Western form of ghosts and hauntings, Hassan appears to stick closer to the more traditional idea of jinns. Not really ill-intentioned ghosts, but rather another race of human-like creatures with supernatural powers that live alongside us. With a traditional jinn being neutral towards us, an encounter with one of them is more likely to be just weird than bad or good. Maybe this doesn't always make for scarier videos, but I think it does make them quite a bit more interesting and unique. Arab ghost hunting creators have garnered huge followings over the years. Hassan Barber, for example, has almost 900,000 subscribers on YouTube. When some of these investigators hear jinns stirring somewhere in the depths of one of these abandoned buildings, it doesn't strike any kind of fear. Instead, they break out in a mad dash towards the source of the sound. Like anything in life, Arab ghost hunting was not born in a vacuum. In fact, the format has almost a carbon copy of this supposedly real viral video from many years ago.
دور 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 شايف غفلة غفلة غفلة.
The video begins with what seems to be a view out the front of a car on a desert road at night. As the clip goes on, a white figure slowly makes its way into the shot. The person appears hunched over and walks with a very strange gait. They use a cane to keep themselves upright. As they make their way towards the car, the driver appears to get spooked and begins frantically reversing. And just like an animal whose predator instinct has been activated, the strange figure begins chasing the car, eliciting screams from those within it.
Bro, just run it over. Ooh. The way it's running is creepy. And the wig shaking side to side.
At some point, the hunched over entity turns away from the car, but the vehicle turns towards them, I guess to keep track of where they are using the headlights, and then this happens. There's a pretty good chance you've seen this clip before. When it comes
That's funny. That's funny. I mean, like, yeah, it's scary, but I don't know. I feel like you can tell that all this is pretty fake. Like, not that other videos are more real, but like the screaming and the reaction is kind of gives it away a little easier, makes it a little less scary. I don't know. But yeah, that's Arabic horror. I'll see you guys on the next one.